Honorable Men Discord. Canelo Alvarez believes Bud needs to run it back to really solidify his win. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So let's get straight to it. The episode that I have queued up, the interview that I have queued up is from an interview that Canelo did with Mr. Versace. They call him Mr. Versace. Never heard of him before, but here we go. Let's get into this interview. And then the other thing that I have queued up is a reaction to this interview and to the talks of a potential rematch. So let's get straight into
it. He deserves all the credit, no? Even if my body don't feel like I really won, but I did well. Now you need to take the losses and learn from that and keep going. I have cramps in my legs, so doesn't respond the way I really want. But, it is what it is. We learn from that and we move forward. I know what mistakes I made in the fight and in the camp, too.
Was there any part of you that got upset when he announced his retirement and you said, I gave you the opportunity, now you're not going to give me the opportunity back?
Yeah, of course. I always give all his credit, no? But we need to run it back. That's why when after the fight, I say we need to run it back this fight because I don't feel the way I really want. I need to make this fight happen again, and it's gonna be different. I think for him to deserve all the credit, he need to give me the rematch, obviously. But I will. He decide to retire, and the rematch will be perfect for boxing. No, but it is what it is.
Let's get into the reactions.
Never defended undisputed. Anybody needed a rematch, it's Canelo.
After the fight, I say we need to run it back this fight because to deserve all the credit, he need to give me the rematch.
Musty energy.
Saul Canelo Alvarez was up on the Versace podcast, and he said for Terrence Bud Crawford to get all of the credit that they need to go ahead and run it back. Give the same opportunity that Canelo gave to Terrence Bud Crawford. But we know Terrence Bud Crawford, he's never had a rematch. He's never defended undisputed, whether that be at 140, 147, and now 168. And Terrence Bud Crawford is retired. He said he won't even come back for $100 million. He does not want to go ahead and sell his soul. So Canelo is left with no dance partner. I guess he can fight a Resendiz or something like that down there in Saudi for Mexican night with Turkey Al Sheikh and Ring Magazine and Canelo Promotions. I don't know what's going on. If anybody needed a rematch, I believe Canelo deserved to get a rematch. What say you? Let me know what you think. And that's the Chilla Killers.
The Hatriots. Musty energy.
He believes Canelo deserves a rematch. We'll get into it in just a few.
Would you want to see a rematch between Canelo and Bud?
Nah. In the beginning, when they talked about that fight, I didn't even want to see that fight. And I was like, man, Bud he's coming from a smaller weight class. It don't make sense in a sense because, usually a rematch happens when it's an even matchup.
Yeah, it wasn't even.
It wasn't even. I feel like Crawford dominated most of the time.
I ain't gonna lie, that fucking fight really fucked with my emotions, dog. Bro, I was watching it, and me and my dad were looking at each other, and I'm like...
What hurt Canelo in that fight was he didn't make a change in his style.
He didn't adjust.
Obviously, you slow down. So don't get me wrong, right? I'm still fighting.
Yeah.
But just because I slow down doesn't mean I can't make adjustments.
Yeah.
I think you always got to make adjustments. You got to change your game. To stay in the game, you got to switch things up.
Would you want to see...
So I'm going to go straight into my thoughts on this. Obviously, if Terrence wasn't retired, I would say let's run it back just to put all the doubt, the people that are the skeptics, just to put them to bed. But he's retired, so no, I don't think he should come out of retirement to fight Canelo. First of all, I'm not surprised by this. At first I said to myself, wow, I'm surprised I don't hear Canelo. And I mean like immediately after the fight or days after, weeks after, I was surprised. I was like, wow, man, that's a stand-up man. He took his loss and he's not talking about a rematch. And at the time of the fight, it also seemed as though Canelo was considering retiring himself. Just his body language and everything. He seemed like he did it all. He has nothing else to prove. He's a champion. So now 5 months later, he's talking about he thinks that they should run it back to really solidify what it is that he did in September, what Crawford did in September. He's like, to really make it count and make it a true victory, they should run it back. I don't think they should run it back. Listen, Terrence going into that fight was the underdog. He had to come up in weight, so he had to meet Canelo where Canelo was comfortable at. All right? It's like David and Goliath, with Canelo being Goliath and David being Terrence Crawford, having to move up in weight to prove something. So just off of that alone, what rematch? You weren't the underdog going into this. I believe Canelo was favored to win. People thought like, all right, Crawford's a good fighter, but he's not on Canelo's level. Even in the interviews that they did with each other, Canelo, his bravado was like, there's levels to this. In every interview that they did with Dana White, in different settings, Canelo had the same bravado, like, listen, he's a good fighter, but we're not on the same level. This is two different levels. And he was wrong. He was wrong. So if you believed then you were on a different level for Crawford, and Crawford came up in weight and beat you on that level that you felt was so superior to Crawford, why now do you feel like Crawford needs to fight you again to prove something? He already proved it. I don't think he should, and not to mention, I just did an episode when Crawford sat down with the Pivot podcast, and no dollar amount's going to bring him out of retirement, at least now. It's safe to say right now, he's not even thinking about it. Will he think about it after a year of resting and spending time with his family? Maybe. Anything's possible. But right now, it's still fresh. He just beat you 5 months ago. He literally just beat you 5 months ago. You think he's thinking about going back into training camp? He talked about the fact that, Crawford talked about the fact that, listen, he's been training, he's been doing boxing since a very young age. And, it's a lot of work that goes into that. I know a lot of people, a lot of fans just want to see a fight. But these guys really sacrifice their body, sacrifice their hands. For those of you that are Mayweather fans, very well, Mayweather, throughout his career, is in his latter part of his career, we're not even talking about the exhibitions, he would always get hand massages because his hands, all those matches, all those sparring sessions that you don't see, that's not televised, these guys are taking a brutal beating on their hands, much less their body. So just their hands alone are taking a toll. And then when you talk about the shots to the rib, the shots to the face, the potential head trauma that they may receive that doesn't appear right away, but it appears as they continue to get older. I can't be upset at someone like Crawford for saying, listen, I'm bowing out, I'm enjoying my family, I'm enjoying, traveling or whatever it is that he likes to do. It could just be as simple as just spending time with his family and his children. I can't fault him for that, because it's like, what, you're going to continue to jump in the ring to prove something? Listen, in anything in life, not just in sports, one thing that life has shown me is that the old saying of what have you done lately is a real thing. All right. And what do they mean by that saying, what have you done lately? The world seems to constantly look towards individuals to prove themselves over and over again. Oh, you did that? That was nice, but you did that then. Can you do it again? Or what else can you do? It's like the world continues to try to suck energy out of you. And that's why as an individual, it's important to be satisfied with yourself. It's important to validate yourself. Because if you're living a life where you're looking for others to validate you, you're going to burn out. You're going to burn out because it doesn't matter what you achieve. There's always going to be someone to say, well, you can't do that again. Or that was that era. You can't do it now. And listen, gentlemen, at the end of the day, Father Time always wins. Okay? No one is going to beat Father Time. As much as you might internally want to prove something to the world, Father Time always wins. So for that, Canelo, I think you could forget about a rematch. Just move on. I've watched other channels and the reactions from the comment section, and some people are saying you should fight Benavidez. All right. I don't know if that's something he wants to do. Let me just take a look at something real quick. Let me see if one of the comments is... No, I don't have any of the comment sections up. But yeah, Canelo's going to have to choose someone else. He's just going to have to move on. And at the end of the day, his legacy is cemented. You know, and this episode's not taken away from Canelo's accomplishments. His legacy is cemented as well as Crawford's. It's just that as of right now, only 5 months past the actual fight that took place in September of last year, 2025. As of right now, it's not looking like that's going to happen. So just move forward and find another opponent. One thing that I will say that I like from what I saw on a separate clip is that Canelo doesn't want to do a tune-up fight. He wants to go straight to a championship contender. A champion. He wants to fight a champion. He doesn't want to play around, which on a separate video, I also saw Oscar De La Hoya was asked, what do you think is next for Canelo? And Oscar said that he thinks he can see him doing a tune-up fight, you know. And De La Hoya was actually wrong when saying that, because Canelo, from this interview with Mr. Versace, Canelo wants to have a championship fight. So he doesn't want to play around. And that's the champion in him, and that's also probably because he wants to, win a belt. He doesn't want to just fight just for the sake of fighting when he knows he could beat the opponent. He wants to be challenged, and I can respect that about Canelo, which is why he's one of the greats. But what's your thoughts on all of this? Do you think Crawford should come out of retirement to give Canelo a rematch, or do you think, one and done? What's your thoughts on that? Do you think there's anything to prove in a rematch? Do you feel like the first fight showed you all you needed to see, or do you think there's a possibility that a second fight would actually be a closer fight? Do you actually believe a second fight, Canelo would come away victorious in that? What's your thoughts? But that's all I have on this, and as always, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell a family member, tell a friend, tell a colleague. I drop episodes daily at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, stay honorable.